fucking hear me. Let's talk about the Johnston crime family. The true story behind the movie that we're going to be watching a little bit later, At Close Range. 1978 was the year America stared into the abyss. Ted Bundy was finally captured in Florida after years of murder and manipulation. John Wayne Gacy's suburban crawl space in Illinois revealed the bodies of 28 boys. In New York, the son of Sam had been unmasked as David Berkowitz, ending a reign of terror that turned the city to a siege zone. And in Guyana, Jim Jones led more than 900 people to drink poison in the largest mass suicide in modern history. It was a year when the country seemed to lose whatever innocence it had left. The headlines were filled with monsters, but they weren't myths. They were our neighbors, our coworkers, our fathers. While the nation obsessed over serial killers and cult leaders, another kind of American horror was unfolding in the rolling farmland in Pennsylvania. A story not about ideology or madness, but about greed, family, and silence. Not a cult, not a serial killer, business, run like a corporation, but enforced with a gun. And when that business began to fall apart, the patriarch of the Johnston clan did what the powerful in America always do when cornered. He turned on his own. A familial criminal empire comes crashing down. Not before the father, the head of the organization, kills his own son, fails to kill another, and unloads 8 bullets into the one who carried his name. That son, Bruce Johnston Jr., would eventually turn against his father, but his betrayal didn't come out of nowhere. We often romanticize organized crime as a kind of American meritocracy, a brutal but effective path to power. But the Johnsons weren't cinematic gangsters. They were migrants from Tennessee, self-styled ridge runners who made a living stealing farm equipment and running bootleg liquor before bringing their trade north to Chester County, Pennsylvania. There, Bruce Johnston Sr. built a rural empire of theft, intimidation, and fear. At one point, he brought his young sons north to teach them the family business, stealing tractors, robbing homes, recruiting their teenage friends to join in. This isn't a story of loyalty and honor. It's a story of greed, exploitation, and cruelty, and the ways working class people can be consumed by the same capitalist hunger for more that drives Wall Street executives and Silicon Valley billionaires. The difference is simple. Men like Bruce Johnston Sr. don't have lobbyists, law firms, or PR departments to sanitize their destruction. They rule by violence. And they silence anyone who talks. Family be damned. This is the story of the Johnston crime family, a rural empire built on theft, fear, and blood. At its peak, the Johnston gang was pulling in hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars in stolen goods, tractors, cars, construction equipment, anything that could move or be resold. The operation was disciplined. The gang stashed their loot in barns across Chester County, moving it through networks of fences who cleaned and sold it for cash. Bruce Sr. was feared, and his sons, Bruce Jr. and Jimmy, were expected to follow orders. They were raised into crime like it was a family trade. And for years it worked, until one bad job changed everything. In 1977, Bruce Jr. was arrested after a botched theft. He expected his father to bail him out, to fix it like he always did. But Bruce Sr. didn't. He called the arrest stupid. He said his son had embarrassed him. And then he left him in jail to rot. For the first time, the family's loyalty cracked. And sitting in a Pennsylvania jail cell, Bruce Jr. began to wonder what his father's loyalty was really worth. Bruce Jr. stayed behind bars for months, stewing in that betrayal. And then a letter arrived from his teenage girlfriend, Robin Miller. In that letter, Robin told him something that would destroy whatever remained of his loyalty. His father and one of his associates had raped her. That was the moment everything changed. Up until then, Bruce Jr. had lived by the family's rules. Loyalty first, silence always. But now, loyalty meant protecting a man who had brutalized the girl he loved. So he made his own decision. He went to federal authorities. He offered information about the Johnston gang's theft operation in exchange for protection. He broke the family code. He talked. Once word got back to his father, there was no going back. For Bruce Sr., this wasn't just betrayal, it was humiliation. His son had defied him. And worse, his son had accused him of something unspeakable. So he did what he'd always done when threatened. He decided to kill. August 1978 would be remembered in Pennsylvania as the Killing Month. Over just a few weeks, the Johnston gang unleashed a campaign of executions targeting anyone who might testify or talk to law enforcement. Victims included James Johnston, Bruce Sr.'s nephew, Wayne Johnston, another relative, Kenneth Johnston, a cousin. Each was murdered and buried in rural Chester County. But Bruce Sr. wasn't finished. On August 30th, he sent his son, David, and an associate to hunt down little Bruce Jr., and his girlfriend, Robin Miller. They found them parked in a car outside Oxford, Pennsylvania, and they opened fire. 8 bullets tore through Bruce Jr.'s body. Robin Miller was killed almost instantly. Somehow, Bruce Jr. survived. Bleeding and delirious, he crawled from the car and stumbled toward help. When police arrived, he identified his shooters: his brother, his father's men, his family. The shootings cracked open years of buried crime. By early 1979, David and Norman Johnston were on trial for 6 murders tied to the gang's efforts to silence witnesses. The prosecution argued that Bruce Sr. ordered everything. A New York Times article from March 6 of 1979 described the courtroom as a parade of rural terror. Neighbors and former gang members testified about years of theft, threats, and fear. Then came the most shocking moment. Bruce Jr. himself, scarred and bandaged, taking the stand against his father. He described the thefts, the violence, the rape, and the attempt on his life. It was a son's final act of rebellion and a father's final undoing. Bruce Johnston Sr. was convicted as the mastermind behind the murders and sentenced to multiple life terms. His sons, David and Norman, followed. The Johnston empire was finished. Time magazine called it Pennsylvania Gothic. It wasn't the polished violence of The Godfather or the moral code of Goodfellas. It was something much uglier, more American. A working class family that turned the logic of capitalism inward, treating loyalty as labor, love as leverage, and family as property. The Johnston story isn't just a crime saga, it's a parable. It shows what happens when power, greed, and fear become a family's only religion. The same disease that animated Bruce Johnston Sr., that belief that everything and everyone exists to serve his will. You can still see it today in the corporate boardroom, the billionaire bunkers, the political dynasties. They build empires too. They destroy lives too. They just don't have to pull the trigger themselves. In the end, the Johnston gang's story isn't just about crime. It's about capitalism without a mask. It's about what happens when the pursuit of control and profit consumes everything, even your own blood. This has been a special true crime episode of Pop Life, brought to you by the good people of This Is Revolution podcast. My name is Jason Miles, and if you'd like to join me to watch the film adaptation of this macabre tale, then become a patron wherever you are watching or listening to this episode. There are links in the description to become part of the crew. Drea says she liked the first intro better. It's funny. But it's not funny because it's a really, told you guys it was going to be a depressing story. But it's a great Madonna song. And the song plays throughout the movie. So are we watching it for the story? I just told a Madonna song. I don't know. But the bottom line is, you want to watch the movie? There's a couple easy ways. You can actually become a paid YouTube subscriber or a patron. But right now, we're going to go watch the movie. And then I'm going to go complain about this new thing they did where they mute you when you come in. It's ridiculous. Oh, thank you guys for your patience. And I will see you people in a few minutes. I am